You're listening to the Truth Unknown podcast. Tune in every week for all your favorite thought-provoking subjects. And remember to click that subscribe button.
I like to think of myself as an optimist. And so, in our vast, ancient universe, with its countless galaxies,
almost any life form that is physically possible is likely to exist somewhere.
Hi guys, and welcome to Truth Unknown episode 4. Thank you to all those that listened to last week's show about the moon landing, and on this week's show we're going to try and answer the age-old question of how extraterrestrials are travelling to Earth. Ben, what are your thoughts on this one?
This is one of the age-old classics. Like in the UFO forums and groups on Facebook, you hear people saying this, and debunkers in general, like, will say all the time, oh, but why would extraterrestrials even have an interest in humans, and how would they ever get here? And this is a question that I love because we can explore so many different reasons, and the number one reason is that just humans are interesting, like, beyond anything. Like, we're so interesting. Joe Rogan said it many times on his podcast about how...
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, hi, Joe. Shout out to Joe. But he's mentioned on his podcast how we are bald apes. We're bald apes with an economy, a ranking or a tier system that puts one person in charge. We kill each other. We try and leave our home planet on rockets filled with fuel that burns. We kill our own bloodline. I mean, humans need oxygen, but yet we take down all the trees. To anyone else watching in from the outside, we make no sense, and we would be super interesting, I think.
Yeah, and I agree, but for me, is there a connection between extraterrestrials visiting Earth for nuclear power? Because they're always seen around nuclear warheads, army bases, etc., where nuclear warheads are being stored.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a connection to that? Are they travelling here for a reason for nuclear power, or are they travelling here to understand us?
I think if they're travelling here, it's not for nuclear power. I think they've obviously tapped into nuclear capabilities and even beyond. Like, they don't use typical fuel.
But they're always seen around nuclear
facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that like a warning? Is that kind of showing their hand and saying, look...
Stop fucking around with this.
Yeah, like, stop playing around with these things. We're here now, and there's nothing you can do about that. What you're going to do is devastate everything. Maybe that's just a warning.
And can you imagine the technology? It's like, if they're travelling here and we don't even know there's life out in the solar system, where are they coming from and what technology do they have?
Well, that what you just said there is a great point. Like you just said, we don't know if there's life in the solar system, but the solar system's tiny. We don't even know if there's life in the solar system. That's what you just said. But yet, think of the universe. They could be coming from anywhere, and like it could be all different types.
And that is what's fascinating, because how and the technology they need to get to here is mind-boggling.
It is. I mean, if we think in like in the logical sense of travel, the way we travel from point A to point B using fossil fuels, if we think like that, then we can't comprehend how they're making this possible.
That is true.
But if we start thinking outside the box and we think about bending space-time and making wormholes, these types of things then make it very possible for life to travel here to Earth. And we know these things can work, we just don't have the power to make it work.
And you've got to have such an open mind to believe that exists.
Yeah.
Wormholes.
It's not even...
bending time. Well, because none of it is possible to us.
No, that's right.
We can't comprehend it.
But I don't think you need an open mind anymore. I mean, years ago, maybe so, but now these things have been proven. So it's not a question of, can we do it? Does it work? Is it possible? We know it does work and it is possible. We just don't know how to generate that much energy to make that happen. So whoever is out there in these far distant planets traveling to Earth have discovered this amazing solution.
And this goes back to what you said, I think it was on episode 2, where we discussed the end game.
Yeah.
If we do have that kind of technology, game over.
Game over. Whoever has access to that first wins. Because if you've got access to a craft that can vanish, fly at unbelievable speeds, do unbelievable...
turn on a dime.
You control the airspace over every continent here on Earth. And that is endgame. Because, I mean, listen, if America, Russia or China had that, it'd be done.
How do you think they do it? Do you think they bend space and time? And
I like Bob Lazar, and I mean, I know a lot of people do speculate on Bob Lazar, and a lot of people choose not to believe him. But I've read his book, Dreamland, and I've heard a lot of documentaries where he spoke openly about this. And I think that what he says, it makes sense to me. He says that somehow that they manipulate the space-time in front of the craft. Almost, actually, Bob Lazar's analogy is great, and I'll just share that real quickly if we've got time. So Bob Lazar says, if you imagine a mattress and you put a bowling ball on that mattress, and then what you do is you put your fist at the side of the bowling ball and crush the mattress down, that bowling ball will roll into where you've just crushed that space.
Yeah.
And he says these UFOs operate in the same way. Somehow they're able to dent that space-time so the craft falls in to the gap just created in front of it. And as long as they keep denting the area in front of them, they'll just keep falling and falling and falling. So it's actually not even like they're flying. So when we say...
So they can get to A to B within a split second.
Well, that's right. But, I mean, that's going from A to B. How they travel the large distances, I think they're either bending it extremely point A to point B, like almost folding a piece of paper. Like.
Here's one for you. So black holes, we know nothing about them really.
No.
So something goes into a black hole,
Yeah.
we don't know what comes out of the other side or where it goes.
No. We assume that it gets crushed into oblivion.
Maybe they think, let's go down this black hole and we'll end up here.
Maybe. That's a good point. Maybe.
You know, that's...
Maybe they do, but from everything we do know about black holes so far, I think it's they've come to a conclusion that suggests whatever goes in just gets evaporated, crushed to death.
Again, that's not...
But
is that proven? Because...
No.
Exactly.
We've never fired anything into a black hole, so how can we say that?
Yeah.
But I think Bob Lazar's idea of this and how they get around from point A to B is amazing, and I can fully see that working. I can see that happening because they're not technically flying then, are they? When we talk about UFO, we say, we saw a UFO flying across the sky. It's not flying, it's falling continuously into an open part of space.
I don't know, because you've seen the footage of the US air pilots.
Yeah.
They're flying, them crafts are flying.
Yeah, and they're left looking very, very silly. Like, they cannot comprehend what they're chasing. Even when you hear them on
and
radio.
It's a change of atmosphere as well. So that craft works in 2 different atmospheres.
Oh, it's like, not in just 2. It works...
Like no gravity.
Yeah, no gravity, under the ocean, above the ocean, on Earth, above Earth, low orbit...
It's unbelievable when you think about it.
I mean, we have no craft even close to that. So, I mean, you've heard some of the radio things recently released by the Navy, where these pilots radio back to radar control or whatever that is, and you can just hear they have no idea what they're chasing. They know that they can't compete.
They're shocked, and to be honest, pilots are probably the most credible people.
Yeah,
they know what they're seeing in the sky.
The most well-trained.
They know what planes can do. They know what G's they're pulling, and when they're seeing something like these crafts
stopping on a dime from
and turning, oh my god, they must be like,
can you imagine at 1 minute, you're the top of the top, you're the best of the best, flying in the most sophisticated, most expensive technology there is available, right? And all of a sudden, something just absolutely wipes the floor with you, makes you look like
you're nothing.
Like nothing.
You're standing still.
Yeah. What do you go back and say? Like, we've got a problem. Like, what I don't know even how to put this in words.
I'd just do a U-turn and go home.
Yeah. You'd have to.
I'm not computing with you, mate.
So let me ask you this then, guys. Like, what do you think about when people say extraterrestrials are interested in humans? What do you think of that?
Why not? When we go into caves and we're looking for new creatures, new species, we're interested in them.
Yeah.
And we dissect them.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they want to do that to us?
Yeah, and like, it's big news when we find an insect. That's huge news. Yeah. And that insect doesn't mean anything to us. Like, it's tiny. We wouldn't miss it if it wasn't there. We never knew it was there.
And there's so many species on this planet that we're still finding today.
Yeah.
People are going in these caves, researching, and they're finding things that are living at the bottom of oceans, deep, dark caves with loads of sulfur.
Yeah.
And things are existing. And they're dissecting to find out how they breathe, live.
Stop. Great word was dissect. Brings me on to my next point. A reason that some people say they're interested is to dissect humans, to see how we work, our immune system.
And that is my point.
So do you think they're doing that? Do you think we're being abducted?
Yeah. My reason being is, why wouldn't they? Yeah. They know nothing about us. And if we found them, and we had an alien being, would we not just dissect them?
But then I could bring you up here and I could call you into question and say, well, which one is it, guys? Because a minute ago you believed in that they're here for nuclear weapons, and now you're saying that. But this is the thing, it could be any and all of those things. Why do we get so hung up on, it's got to be just this they're here for, or it's got to be hit just this? Do you know, it could be anything. It could be all of them.
Think of it like this. We discover a planet.
Yeah.
That planet would be so brand new to us, we would want to understand everything about that planet. Nuclear, how they're living, atmosphere, you name it, we'd want to understand everything.
Yeah.
And then we capture an alien being. How does it breathe? How does it operate?
How does it eat?
How does it think?
Yeah.
Does it have a brain?
Does it evolve?
So we dissect it, yeah?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they do the same to us?
Exactly.
And why wouldn't they do that to animals?
But here's the thing though, like what I find odd is, and I'm sure listeners listening to this as well will think the same, or maybe not, who knows. But I think we've got this super intelligent alien being, right? They've flown here from however far out in the universe. So they must know that we can't do that because we're not keeping up with them in our own airspace. But hang on, let me finish the point. We're not keeping up with them in our own airspace, yeah? And then all of a sudden now what we've got to make ourselves think is that they're here and they're thinking, we don't understand how humans work, let's dissect them. Hang on a second. Something that intelligent, sophisticated, would have seen things like us a million times over, surely. We can't be that fascinating. I mean, they've been here long enough, they've been sighted long enough now, surely they've got it all figured out, like who we are, how we work.
But they do see us in space, don't they? So maybe they see the International Space Station, maybe they don't know the technology.
Yeah.
They see the International Space Station, they see satellites, they see us going to Mars,
Yeah.
they see whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Maybe they're so intrigued about us in space, they want to know what capabilities we do have.
Do you think it's intrigued or worried? Because...
Both, just like we are.
Yeah. And this is a great point again, is both. Don't be scared to say both, because like we spoke about many times before, is people try to pigeonhole things. Like, if you believe in greys, it's likely that you probably won't believe in reptilians. If you believe in Bigfoot, it's likely that you won't believe in extraterrestrials. It could be any and all. All of these things could be possible.
And it probably is.
Exactly, and that's what I think, that we need to stop pigeonholing things and accept that certain things, or all things, could be likely.
I don't want to think like an alien. I can't think like an alien. But I just think they would want to know so much about us, our capabilities, what danger do we present them?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on a planet and your neighbours are harbouring or tinkering around with nuclear warfare or capability, like nuclear weapons, that's a big worry. I mean, you're going to want to know what's going on and why they're doing these things and what are these tests that they're doing all around this planet. Like, are they at war?
But then again, like you said, the solar system and all that, it's huge, yeah?
Yeah.
Are we the only planet with humans on? There could be multiple planetary systems out there.
Yeah.
That people are visiting this planet, coming to us.
Here's one for you then. So Elon Musk and his new crusade is to get humans off Earth, so that when we get hit by this killer asteroid, how do we know that's not already been done and where the other people have moved on? So how do we know?
So you're saying people on Mars?
No, I'm saying, so maybe there's a planet out there, right, with humans on, and they've got their own little Elon Musk, and their little Elon Musk said, this planet could be hit by an asteroid, we need to get off this planet and start colonising another one. How do we know we're not that second one that they colonised? And now Elon's doing the same here again, another Elon, a version of that one.
Wow.
So how do we know this? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're assuming that we're the only humans that have ever existed. But we could be the fifth. And every time we go to another planet, up sprouts an Elon. We need to get off this planet. We need to get off this planet and go harbour another one because we're going to get killed by an asteroid. Off we go. And then they grow up, they evolve, and they go, all right, we're the only humans. We need to get off this planet, and it continues and continues. We could be like the third, fourth, fifth time this has happened.
It's amazing to think about. Honestly, I sit here and I'm just like, I'm just thinking so deep about everything because, like you say, we could be the third, fourth planet along.
But these UFOs that we're seeing could be our future selves. They could be us coming back to see if it actually did get killed by a killer asteroid. Oh shit, they're still here. Like, we moved on years ago.
Mate, just stop it. Just stop
like,
it.
That's crazy when you think about that. I mean, a lot of these reports, you look at Travis Walton case, you look at the Betty and Bina Hill case, and all these other famous abduction cases claim to have seen humanoids, very human-looking people on these crafts. Blonde hair, blue eyes, tall, look very much human-like. In fact, Travis Walton ran up to a human that he thought was a human to try and get answers.
I just want to say, anybody who's listening from Twitter, there's a big thing going on at the minute with Travis Walton saying that he faked it. we're not here to say he faked it, he didn't fake it. We don't really care, we're just discussing it. So
I
don't
will.
jump on us.
I will. I'll say that he didn't fake it.
think that?
Travis Walton never faked it. Come on, he's
Do you know Travis?
I've spoke to Travis Walton on Facebook. I've never actually spoke to him on Skype or Zoom call or anything like that. But we've had a conversation, like a very brief conversation at that. But I believe him 100%. His story's never changed, and there's just too many people involved.
Tell you what I'm going to do, listeners. Head over to our Facebook page. I'm going to put some documents on there so you can see this proof. It's not proof. It's speculation of how he could have faked it.
Yeah.
There's a big debate going on at the minute.
What do you think? Does it hold any weight?
Anything's possible in this topic, innit? It's,
I just think that fooling an entire neighbourhood or an entire area, people on horseback, sniffer dogs, helicopters overhead, fooling all them people isn't possible for 5 or 6 days, however long he was missing. I mean, do you know what I mean? He wasn't Houdini, was he? This guy was just a logger out there doing his job. He went missing. He came back with facial growth for 5 days. Nobody saw where Travis went. And I just think that everybody's story has stayed the same.
yeah.
And there's been many people offering large amounts of money to come out and openly confess that it was a lie, and they've still stuck to their guns and said no.
Well, like I said, listeners, head over to our Facebook page at Truth Unknown Podcast.
Yeah.
And I will put some documents on there. You let us know what you think. But for now, I just want to jump back into...
Also, I'll just give a quick plug as well for my YouTube channel, 401 Files. If anybody is interested in these thought-provoking topics, you can also check that out as well. That's 401 Files on YouTube as well. Sorry, guys, go on.
No, just plug yourself, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, I will.
So just jumping back into it then. So how long do you think they've been visiting? Because when you look on pyramids and
Yeah.
on cave walls, people have been seeing these for thousands of years.
Yeah, they have. And I do believe that ancient humans, or our ancient ancestors, definitely had some kind of involvement with extraterrestrial beings. I 100% believe that. And now I've already just spoke about that theory a minute ago about us moving on and other Elon sprouts. So how do we know that that wasn't ourselves or our future selves helping us start out again before they moved on and did the same somewhere else? This just goes down a massive rabbit hole when you start thinking about this. So yeah, I do actually believe that extraterrestrials, whether they are our future selves or whether they are extraterrestrials from another planet, have definitely had some involvement with humans.
Do you think they have the same attributes as humans?
As in what?
Obviously, 2 arms, 2 legs, a brain.
Not all of them. This is what I'm saying. So
What do they breathe?
Yeah. I think that some will. I think that some will be humanoid. So they'll be humans, but not quite humans. They might have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, walk upright, bipedal. But I think that they might have, like you see in Star Trek, maybe scaly skin. Or they might have different coloration in the eyes, like a luminous green. So they're almost human, but just not quite. And I can go down a whole another rabbit hole here. And again, we always say this, but this is definitely another episode. And I've got this theory where Jesus himself could be extraterrestrial, like a humanoid, half human, half extraterrestrial.
That's a big claim.
It is. It's crazy, but when I start talking about it, I'm sure I'll be able to convince.
Explain it.
I'll briefly explain it. So, when you think about the story that's told in the Bible of Jesus, a voice from the heavens told Mary. Mary was a virgin. We all know that virgins can't have children. It's just impossible. It doesn't work like that. But when you look at artificial insemination, something that we're dealing with heavily now, we're able to make a woman pregnant without ever having sex. Ever. We can make these babies in labs. How do we know that at the time of Christ, some extraterrestrial beings out there wasn't dabbling with artificial insemination? We need someone to test it on. We can't test it on our own. It's brutal. We'll get a victim or a patient to trial this on, right?
I see where you're going with this.
A voice said to Mary, "You're going to have a son, right? He's going to grow up to do amazing things. His name will be Jesus." The next, however long, Mary falls pregnant. Everyone's amazed and no one can understand how this has worked. These people artificially inseminated Mary, right? The reason this child did grow up to do amazing things is because he wasn't fully human. He was half human, half hybrid, right? So he had capabilities that no one else did. So everyone around at that time saw this boy grow up, doing amazing things like this voice from the sky said he would, right? No one understood how he got there. Mary was a virgin. She claimed to be a virgin all the time. I think extraterrestrials artificially inseminated Mary. Jesus grew up, he did do amazing things, and the reason that was is because he had abilities that normal humans like us don't. That's what I think.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, and this voice always spoke to him.
And it's a valid...
This voice always spoke to him. Like, if you read the Bible, this voice, God, his father, from the skies, no one ever saw him. Was he just on a craft somewhere, giving Jesus information? Like, do you know what I mean?
And do you think this is why people get abducted?
I mean,
because they want to know about the human body, the anatomy.
I just want to make very clear as well that this is a theory, because that might offend some people. There might be some people listening.
Yeah, when you talk about religion, you're always going to offend someone.
I've always got to cover my tracks with that one. It is just a theory. It's not something that I'm saying I believe in 100%. It's just something I'm putting out there and exploring, but does make a lot of sense.
But going back to what I said then, do you think people are abducted because they want to dissect us and they want to understand our internal organs and how we mass produce?
Right, okay, so, and I don't want to keep plugging the 401 files, but I've recently done...
401 files, yeah, mate? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, 401? 401.
401 what?
401.
Okay.
Yeah, but I recently did an interview for the 401 files with a guy called Steve Merrer, and I'm sure that he won't mind me shouting him out on this podcast. Absolutely amazing guy, and we was talking about alien abductions. And what Steve was telling me was that when in a lot of these cases, a lot of these abductions and mutilation cases, is that it's often soft tissue that's taken. So tissue around the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the anal. And this is, strangely enough, an area where something called the mucous membrane builds up. And when they've examined these animals, because they are capable now of seeing what kind of state the animal was in before it was mutilated, and this mucous membrane holds all this information, and basically, these animals are terrified. When they know what's happening, they're alive, they're awake when this is happening to them. And so the theory now is that these extraterrestrials carrying out these autopsies are interested in this mucous membrane, because the mucous membrane is closely related to the human immune system. And so are these extraterrestrials interested in our human immune system?
Yeah, because I presume they'd want to know
how we work, how we protect ourselves from the elements, how we're able to go in these hostile environments and survive without no oxygen mask. Maybe that's exactly what they're interested in. Who knows? But it's just weird.
Fascinating. And so do you think that's why more animals are found, what's the word? Mutilated, rather than more people getting abducted? Because it's easy to understand us through animals than it is to abduct humans. Maybe they're just like clever and think, you know what, if I take you off street, someone's going to know you're missing. But if I take this sheep, there's millions of them.
Well,
there's millions of humans, isn't there?
That works in two ways, because humans do the same. Like when we're going to test some kind of new equipment, example would be Elon Musk with Neuralink. He's not testing it on humans right now, he's testing it on pigs. So that makes sense there, but there's a problem. And that is that humans have been mutilated under mysterious circumstances.
So when Travis Walton was abducted, what do you believe the reasons was for taking him?
I think that was a chance encounter and it was an accident. They never intended anyone to be there. It was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I think that, I mean, we hear horror stories about UFOs. Some people think that they're demons. We can go down that whole route of saying that they're demonic or whatever. But I think there's a lot of good things that they do as well. I mean, for example, they brought Travis back after.
But yeah, that's what my question is what reason did they take him for? I mean, we've just gone on to the dissecting animals, humans, dropping them from high heights. Do you think they looked into anything on Travis?
No, I think that they were there for whatever reason.
But did they just take him for a laugh and then say, there you go, mate, now you've had your ride?
No. So Travis was there because he was working.
Yeah.
On the way down the mountainside, they saw some really strange lights through the forest. They decided to stop. Travis decided to jump out and have a closer look. This thing wasn't going to allow Travis to get anywhere near this craft for whatever reason. So what it did was send a big pulsar out of the side, hit him in the chest, and pretty much knocked him unconscious.
So you believe Travis was getting too close and it was more of a warning?
It was an accident. They never intended anyone to see this thing, whoever these beings in this craft are. And when Travis got out and started to head towards it, they had no choice but to stop him from doing so. And then realised, crap, like, we can't just leave him here. This guy's going to die or whatever. Took him aboard the craft, fixed him up, and then dropped him off. That's what I think happened.
So you think it was a warning, they didn't intend to injure him, he fell to the floor,
yeah,
they took him away, fixed him up and brought him back.
Yeah, that's why.
These guys are pretty nice.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So, like, there's not always horror stories with these things. Sometimes there's a lot of good things that they do as well. Like, we spoke about the nuclear warheads, and I've said there that maybe they're telling us, look, don't do this. This is a bad thing. You're heading in the wrong direction. So, yeah, I don't think they're all bad.
Chernobyl.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, look what we did there.
Exactly, yeah.
We don't even go to that area no more. We like literally demolished it.
And that was when we weren't trying to blow each other up.
Well, I suppose neither of us know, do we?
Exactly, and that's what makes these subjects so fascinating to me, and that's why we do this podcast, I guess. Like,
yeah.
To
Like
talk
you
about
say,
these things.
neither of us know, but you go down rabbit holes, don't you? And
That's
you say things, and I'm sat here and I'm like, wow, I
Yeah.
didn't think of it like that.
And again, we say it all the time, and it's not me blowing smoke up our audience's bums or anything like that, but you guys as well bring a lot of interesting things to us, theories and ideas. So although we do like talking about these things, it's always nice as well to listen out for other people's theories that are going on, because we're never right, and we don't claim to be right. And in these kind of subjects, I don't think that anyone can, so it's always nice to find fresh new content to talk about.
No, so thank you for joining us on this week's show. It's a pleasure to have you as always. Please, please, please get over to our Facebook page, Truth Unknown Podcast, and also jump on 401 Files. I don't know if Ben's plugged it today, but jump on
401 Files on YouTube. So that's just 401 Files on YouTube, and you'll see me over there talking about a lot of cryptid things happening here in the UK, a lot of UFO reports, etc. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting us all the time, and if you can, please do spread the word and hit that follow button as well. I think, is it follow or subscribe with podcasts?
subscribe.
Yeah.
Follow and subscribe, whichever one it says, just hit that bloody button.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Peace for now.